The U.S. Supreme Court is set to hear a bid today by TikTok and its China-based parent company ByteDance to block a law intended to force its sale or face a ban in the country on national security grounds. The deadline, that's the 19th of January. The latest twist, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has indicated he wants to save the app. Olivia Xiong with a recap.
January 19th, 2025, TikTok is set to be banned in the United States. But don't freak out.
Wait, what happened?
I'm sorry?
Why are you working here?
Oh, TikTok getting banned and everything.
Time is ticking for popular short video sharing app TikTok as a ban in the U.S. becomes more imminent than ever. Congress passed the measure and U.S. President Joe Biden signed the bill into law in April last year. The Justice Department saying that TikTok poses a national security threat because of its access to vast amounts of data, also alleging it has the ability to manipulate content that Americans view on the app. TikTok, which has more than 170 million users in the U.S., has denied the allegations and taken its fight to the courts. It argues that a ban is a violation of free speech protections under the U.S. Constitution's First Amendment. Although last month the lower court rejected the arguments, and it's now appealing to the Supreme Court to block the sell or ban law.
We did go on TikTok, and we had a great response with billions of views, billions and billions of views. We got to keep this sucker around a little while,
But following his win at the U.S. elections, President-elect Donald Trump has called for the Supreme Court to pause implementation of the law, saying he should have time after taking office on January 20th to pursue a political resolution to the issue, an about-turn from his first term in office when he tried to ban the app and force its sale to an American buyer.
Earlier, my colleague Ottilie Edwards was joined by our China correspondent Olivia Xiong and Roy Camphausen, Senior Fellow for Chinese Security at the National Bureau of Asian Research. They discussed the implications of this hearing.
Question is, are there First Amendment rights that are being somehow encroached upon? There's two parts of this. There's the part of the users, and then there's the part of the content creators. On the first point, the U.S. Circuit Court, which issued the first ruling, said First Amendment rights are not being encroached upon. It's purely about who controls the content and whether they're acting on behalf of a foreign adversary, in this case, the PRC. And so the Supreme Court will make a judgment on that question. The lower court actually said the content could remain the same if the company was divested. And so that's the interesting piece that the court will look at. The second is for those who contribute to the app, the content creators, are their rights somehow being abrogated if the divestiture has to occur? That's a little more open-ended. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Roy, if I may press you there, if you had to make a call, how do you think the Supreme Court, given all that we know, could act?
As you know, I'm not a Supreme Court specialist. I think it would be a surprise if they overturn the Circuit Court. But I think it's important to note that they are giving to TikTok the opportunity to have their day in court. And so I think that's a positive development.
But the other development is that, President-elect Trump has called for a pause to this law that could lead to a potential ban. How much sway does Mr. Trump actually have in this matter?
He has no standing as president-elect to ask the Supreme Court to do this. There are two ways in which he might be involved, though. First, TikTok has already asked for a temporary emergency injunction. And it could well happen that after the court rules, even if they rule against TikTok, that they would allow for this temporary injunction, in which case it would then occur during President Trump's presidency. The second is that the law itself allows for a 90-day period for the president to actually allow for slow the implementation of law if there's judgment that the company is making good faith efforts to actually implement the law as it was written.